going to make sure that the team member has an office, that they follow HIPAA compliant rules, that those things are just part of our internal deal. But it's also got to be a smooth process for picking your VA or finding your VA or recruiting or searching for your VA. And so we want to make sure that we make that experience kind of smooth and easy for people. But what was your experience like with finding Rose? Because I mean, she's a diamond in the rough. She's fantastic. What was your experience with, how did that come about?
So initially, early on, I expressed kind of my preferences and what my needs were. And then from there, I got some information, like a resume, essay with typing assessment, some like recorded interviews to review, kind of basically like a packet of information for various candidates. And then from there, I was able to review the information and then ultimately decide who I wanted to interview in real time. And, then of course, went through that process. I interviewed Rose, and then, the rest was history. So here we are now.
Yeah. So it sounds like, just a very standard, our process is very standard to what you would deal with an internal recruiter in the US. We just happen to do that same process internationally, and we go through a whole vetting process ahead of time for you just to make sure that the people that we're passing along are qualified quality candidates. And then ultimately you're selecting the right person for your practice. Was there anything that you were specifically looking for in a candidate that kind of was like, that could give the people that are watching the webinar now, like Maria, or those on the replay, any information you could give them that would help them in choosing their VA?
Yeah, I think everyone's going to have different preferences, different requirements or certain things they're looking for. Some might be looking for certain experience within the healthcare industry, like insurance or whatever the case may be. For me, that wasn't important. It was really customer service. Having somebody who had great customer service skills, and I could tell that, and communication skills, and I could tell that immediately. When connecting with Rose. So I think just communicating. Thinking thoughtfully about what any preferences are and communicating that to, whoever is helping with that process is important in helping kind of get matched up with the right person.
Yeah. And Rose, I want to just ask you a quick question, because you've been on and been so patient and waiting for an opportunity to speak. And so I just want to make sure I bring you into the conversation to ask you, how was your onboarding experience coming to work for BBC Global Services?
At first, by the way, this is my first time working as a healthcare virtual assistant. During onboarding, I was so happy. I was so excited because knowing that, oh, I am going to use my skills in communicating other people, most especially on the other side of the world. Yeah, and since day one up until today, to be honest with you, I am very excited. Like just every day I just make it normal, and I just take it seriously, most especially doing my tasks every day. And I am also very happy because Dr. Mettu is very open, and he always accepts suggestions, because he always asks me what can you say about this, and then we are going to put this into action. Yeah, and so we have the great teamwork. I just wanted to let you know, guys.
Oh, I love that. I love that answer. So then Dr. Mettu, once you decided on Rose, there's an onboarding process to get the VA started, to make sure that they work well within your practice. How was the onboarding process for getting her started?
Yeah, so after, the BBC Global team did the initial kind of training, we, set up our systems in place to get Rose on board. So that includes, the EMR, VoIP software, like the web-based access, and an extension on the phone tree, Google Suite. Those are the three big things that we use to collaborate with each other. So once we got those in place, then we, in the Google workspace, we have a shared drive where we have a lot of our office protocols, policies, et cetera, like basically step-by-step guides on how to do the various things that need to be done. And actually when Rose joined, they were not nearly as good as they are now, because just like she was saying, she has added and enhanced our processes. So with suggestions, feedback, we make adjustments to how we do things. So, but we did use those initially. in training, as a resource. And then we would use Google Meet, have signed a BAA with Google. So we do Google Meet with screen shares to initially kind of demonstrate that. And Shayla, who works with me, did a great job basically getting Rose up to speed on the various things that we wanted her help with. And it's been, a dynamic process. And as mentioned, in terms of kind of updating some processes, protocols, screenshots, and Rose has been great about, when she would do something, saw a place to make it better, to figure out how to do that, and then communicating that with us. And then just progressively, Rose learned all the various tasks in that same manner. And, as needed, we'll still collaborate with, we'll hop on a quick Google Meet if needed. Doesn't come up as often. We have GChat, et cetera. So, but the initial process, that's kind of how it unfolded.
Wonderful.